Hi, everybody. It's Craig from Doc Sports. We're back with another Doc's Daily. It's how about Hump Day Wednesday? Wednesday, April 2nd. Hope you didn't get caught with an April Fool's day yesterday. I appreciate everybody covering me yesterday. I was at a National Honor Society for my stepdaughter. I thought I was going to be able to move it around. Nah, they didn't care that I had something else at the same time, believe it or not. All right, let's talk sports. Before we do so, though, thanks for Raphael joining me. Potentially, Griffin and Nick might join us. They got some issues. Let's just say that. So as they covered for me yesterday, so I can cover for them today. I said unless they jump in, they'll give us a free pick. Great. If not, no big deal. Okay. Housekeeping. Don't forget, if you haven't done so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We got tons of videos, and we got tons more coming. We got tons more planned. All you got to do to tell us that you like it is you hit the like button. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. You won't miss out on everything. Usually we have about 20 videos a day, 10 to 20, let's just say that. So tons of content for you, and we got tons more coming. Also, don't forget about the free $60. If you want to get on our best place, you go over to docsports.com/free60. They'll load you up $60 for new customers. If you're an existing customer, of course, just go to the grid. You'll get in on it. And last thing, but no, let's talk about we'll talk about the Premium Plus in between a couple of things. Let's get to some picks. Hey, Raphael, I hope you've been having a good one. I hope the NCAA tournaments have been good to you. 4 number 1 seeds. Is that like odds makers worst nightmare or not?
It's funny how you said that because I've been talking to a lot of odds makers, especially yesterday after the Crown basketball fiasco. But they were telling me this March Madness has not been kind to the books, and they're actually referencing it to another thing that's not kind to the books, and that's this month. And that's the NFL draft, which I call it the NFL Customer Appreciation Day, because the books have never won an NFL draft since I've been doing this almost 30 years. We've always lost an NFL draft. Same thing in this college basketball. They've been getting their butts handed to them. Last week they had some buyback and they won a couple of days, but nothing significant. But yeah, all these number ones and all these favorites and overs coming in has not been kind to the books, which is fine. It's not my money.
Well, the good news is we've got 4 number 1 seeds. The numbers are low, so it's if the favorites win, I still think they'll get pretty big action on both. I'm guessing maybe Duke would be the one that would have a little exposure just because they've been killing teams all year long. I'm guessing of the 4 teams, that might be where their exposure lies.
No, all four books I talked to yesterday, they have pluses on all 4 teams. They make the most money with Auburn winning it. So I think the books are probably big Auburn Tiger fans for the Final Four.
So Duke 5-point favorite, total 136.5. Auburn or Florida 2.5-point favorite, 159.5. I've already got one. But I called it before. I said I think it's going to be Florida Duke. I just thought those were the 2 best teams. I kind of thought Auburn was going to get upset. I was kind of surprised that they made it. But I will say their size is just giving people problem all year long. It will be interesting how everybody deals with that size. Florida does have a lot of guys to throw at them. They did win. I think it was at Auburn the last time these two faced off. So that's a nice little rematch, a little revenge spot there. Duke, Houston. I mean, I think the key is, can Houston's defense slow down Duke? Because if it gets up and down, Houston's not winning the game. Sampson's this is the greatest comeback of a coach in a very, very long time. I remember when he was run out of Indiana, had to go hide, and then Houston wasn't good when he took over. And they have been the most consistent team the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, they've gotten hurt in the tournament, so they haven't done as well in the tournament. But as far as regular season stuff, I mean, they're one of the top 5 teams every year. So great story. And John Shire, I mean, I thought no one's going to be able to step into the shoes of Coach K. I mean, this dude, not only has he stepped into the shoes, he's improved. They play a completely different style, the way he recruits. These kids really like him. And
he runs the bench really well. I mean, Coach K never went 8, 9 deep. Shire does. He likes to play his bench guys, which I think it helps Cooper Flagg and his starters that gets them on much needed rest.
All the young guys start. All the guys off the bench are all the transfer portal guys that he went out and literally this is the way I think coaches are going to have to do it from now on. You want to do the John Calipari build with freshmen kind of thing? That's fine. Then you got to go add fifth-year seniors, fourth-year, guys that were like maybe better at the smaller level, and guys that are going to give you something, a role player type of thing, not guys fighting for necessarily starting spots. And he's definitely done that. This Duke team is well-rounded. They really don't have any. I will say all four teams are pretty well-rounded. I don't think there's a glaring weakness of any of the teams. I thought Duke's was going to be inexperienced. That has not been a problem for them at all. Like, we haven't seen a freshman team like this since Anthony Davis's Kentucky won it all. That was the last freshman-laden team to win it. The only one, really. I mean, so. All right. Any quick opinions on this, the Crown tournament? We can't just glance by this. Explain to me. I've listened to other sportsbooks like on ESPN and stuff talk about how this happened. How did they go? I mean, it's in Vegas. Obviously, they're there. They're going to be betting on it, like teams. But how did the rest of the nation miss out on this?
Well, it's not that the rest of the nation missed out. I just think they saw a tournament and let's put odds on it, not knowing this is not it's not an NCAA sanctioned tournament. Even if you look at the flyers of the website, the tournament, even at MGM, there's no NCAA logo anywhere to be found. So they just saw a tournament. There's odds, or there's games. Let's put odds on it. It's March Madness. I think books just thought, okay, there's more games to bet. Let's try to get more money out of these college kids who are here for spring break or people betting on their apps. And I just think they fell asleep at the wheel. And this is, I mean, I've talked this to our boss. I've talked this to many people. This is why the U.S. books are always going to be fueling offshore books. Because now Kentucky, Illinois, I think New Jersey, as of today, don't have these odds up. So if you're in there, okay, then I'm going to sign up for an offshore book because I want to bet USC Tulane last night, which I was watching. I mean, I just don't understand the stupidity of some of these books here in the books to have these ridiculous rules and sanctions. Okay, if it's not an NCAA sanctioned book, then put a $500 max bet and still book it.
Yep.
Who cares? I mean, I just don't understand the stupidity of U.S. books. If you want to get rid of offshore books, then be smart, be better.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is, from what I hear, all the books in Vegas still. We're booking action on both days, so I'm sure they'll continue to do so. Hopefully, these other books will jump on. It sounds like the NCAA somewhat had a little hand in this. They're kind of like, hey guys, just so you know, these weren't sanctioned, and when we, so state of Illinois, you shouldn't allow this. And it's like NCAA should be saying, hey, you need to book this because guess what happens when you book this? Now we can track where the betting. If this game's fixed, we know it's fixed because we know. Like if this goes offshore, you're not getting all that information. So, to me, this is doing a disservice. Like you said, set a limit, couple $1,000. You're not going to get hurt by it. Heck, if you're taking odds on the NFL draft, that information leaks out sometimes well in advance. Like you're telling me you can't take college.
It's NFL Customer Appreciation Day. It's not the NFL draft.
But I do think I was surprised, to be honest, with this Crown tournament. I thought it would be lower scoring because I thought it would be bowl games, like a lot of rust and stuff. It's been the opposite. High scoring, pretty good games. There's been two blowouts, but been pretty good games. The NCAA needs to get in on this because, one, it's affected the NIT, which they own. They should have 3 tournaments. It should go, I mean, in my opinion, this should go to the NCAA tournament, obviously, then it's to the NIT, then the Crown tournament. But the Crown tournament took all the teams that would travel, all the teams that would bring people to Vegas, Nebraska, Cincinnati, Butler, like Boise State. Look at the teams. These were all been NIT teams for the most part. Now the NIT stinks.
Yeah, and it's at Finkel House. It's not even at MSG, which is weird watching an NIT game when it's not at the Garden. Yeah. I don't care how many years. If I want to watch an NIT Final Four and championship, put it in the Garden. I don't care.
I don't know what happened that last year they started playing this at Hinkle. This is where my stepson goes to Butler, so he went last night and watched. And he said that Chattanooga game was pretty fun to watch. But he's like, there was no one there.
There was no one there.
I'm like, well, duh. Just think about it. If you take Boise State would have had, I think, chance to win NIT. I think Cincinnati. I think even Butler. They could have played at home, maybe in the final. Now all those teams are in Vegas with all their fan bases. And now we have, I really like North Texas, but you think UC Irvine had a big crowd there in Indianapolis? No. Chattanooga? No. Loyola Chicago did because that's close. That's probably, they probably brought a nice little fan base. But to me, the NCAA needs to get on this because I want to see good postseason tournament. Like, that's what I want to see. And to me, I want to be like, like, hey, this is the pecking order. If it's the crown be the second tournament, I'm okay with that too. But let's just make it very clear. Then the NIT is like the toilet bowl like division.
The NIT winner's not getting $500K though.
Yeah, and I guess this crown, the idea is that going forward, these kids will get some of the NIL money will filter down to them as well. So I do like that concept because one, these kids aren't going to opt out. They're not going to try to transfer because they're like, hey guys, go to Vegas for a week, fun. And if we win, we get 50, 60 grand in a week pay. That I don't care if the kid's $700,000 year player. That's a good little weekend that, a week of games, 3-4 games. So how about Major League Baseball, Raphael? It's a lot of overs. The book's got to be like these torpedo bats, all this, whatever it is. We've seen lots of overs. Are we going to see big adjustments here?
Maybe not. Right. First of all, you have to look at the weather. There has not been one snow game at all. Every baseball season, there's either one or two games that get canceled because of snow. Colorado, Detroit.
Well, Detroit and Cleveland aren't playing at home for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because
I'm just saying. I think that's why they finally adjusted the schedules and maybe have those weather teams that start off at home. The torpedo bats have, I think, some kind of reason why they've seen a lot of it, or maybe just everyone's throwing Milwaukee Brewer pitching staff off because the Brewers pitching staff right now has been awful. I mean, everyone praised the Yankees. Oh, the Yankees hit 100 home runs. But no, maybe it was just Brewers pitching because they went home. And I can't believe they go home on a big emotional day
Bob Uecker day.
They celebrate Bob Uecker, and then they give up 11 runs. I mean, come on. But
I didn't bet them because they were so bad in New York, but I was like, dude, if they're ever going to win, it's going to be this one. No,
and they just played a big goose egg. Yeah,
like I to me, it's like I think people are maybe putting a little. People are like ban these bats. It's like you still got to be able to hit the freaking ball. Like you still got to put bat to ball. Okay, it's got a bigger sweet spot. Like we've seen this in baseball. Like where there's some kind of advantage. People think they have some kind of advantage. It almost always adjusts. Now, if we see this kind of home runs off of these bats for 2 or 3 months. I definitely think Major League Baseball will step in and say, okay, maybe we need to address this.
Now, someone asked me this today because I actually put a prop bet up and some books actually posted what would be banned first, a tush push or torpedo bats. They would have to play the whole season to ban it. Can they just get rid of them during the season? I did a lot of research and I couldn't find a yes or no answer to that.
I did hear on, I think it was Fox Sports, they were talking about it and they interviewed somebody. And it sounds like they can.
They can? Okay.
But the Players Association would have to kind of sign off on it too.
Well, yeah.
And now, as a Players Association, which, now that's bad stats for pitchers, good stats for hitters. There's more hitters than pitchers, or, by slightly. Like, if it comes to a push, who has the power? The hitters or the big money pitchers? Because, if you're a big money pitcher and all of a sudden you're getting, it only takes 2 games where you go 5 home runs in like a couple innings and your ERA for the year is screwed. Like, that's Cy Young, all this stuff, these big bonuses and big contracts are based off of this. So it will be interesting to see how this develops over a week or 2 or even a month if it continues. Now, for me, I'm not running to just bet overs because we've seen, because to me, you have that over, everybody thinks, oh, that just means there are going to be tons of overs. To me, I got to see more stats on this. I got to see more of a, not saying I won't play an over. I'm not saying I won't play an under. I'm just saying, I'm waiting seeing on the totals here. I'm staying kind of away from some of the totals. I did have the Cubs over yesterday, but
one thing I do like about the torpedo bats or the more runs we're seeing, it's April 2nd. And we're talking baseball. Normally, it's all Final Four talk. It's all heading to the NBA playoffs, heading to the NHL playoffs. We don't mention baseball until after the Final Four, after the Masters. We're talking baseball on April 2nd, which we rarely do.
Well, usually, like our lives.
Well,
for you guys, they grew up
on
Monday of the national championship game was opening day, which was awesome.
Yep.
I would go to opening day. In Cincinnati, we were the first game always. We would have the parade always. And then we would go to the game, And then you get home, you still have 2 or 3 hours before the game. Then you have the national championship game. You have baseball all day, basically. And you need a national championship game at night. I like that because it was like, you know what I mean? There's nothing else on during the day because, it's Monday. Now we do see that. I don't know if I love it early, to be very honest. Now, if they cut off the end of the season, I'd be okay for it. Like if we're not playing into, like when it's snowing in Cleveland.
November, we're playing World Series games close to November.
Now I'd be in it. Now, I don't think that's what they're going to do, though. I think it's still they're just stretching it out so they give more days off, I believe. Like, to me, that doesn't, I don't know. The NBA and MLB, I thought were fine when I was a kid at the length of the season. I think now their seasons are just too long because we do not see the best players, even in baseball, play as much as they used to. I mean, Pete Rose, when I was growing up, played every day. Every day. It didn't matter. They played 2 games at back-to-back days sometimes with rainouts and stuff. They didn't care. They played all 4 games in 2 days. Now, it's like, you just kid gloves type thing. So is there a free play you like here in Major League Baseball today to kick us off?
It's funny. We were talking about torpedo bats, and what am I going to give you? A total, Cleveland Guardians team total under 3.5. And why do you ask? Because the Guardians bats suck right now. Great. Everyone's talking about the Dodgers. No one's giving the San Diego Fathers, which I call them. They've won again last night. They shut out the Guardians. They've only scored 2 runs in their last 2 games, and now they have to face Dylan Cease, who's I'll give you kind of 2 free plays. I'll look at the Padres run line tonight at plus 125 until the Guardians can tell me they can play small ball, long ball, any kind of ball on offense. I'm looking to fade them. I just don't like it right now. This prop bet has cashed 3 out of the last 4 games, and the Fathers and Padres have been playing outstanding baseball to start the season. Granted, we don't hear about them because the other team in California is also undefeated, the Dodgers.
I thought Padres might have a step back this year, to be very honest. I just
Me too.
They really didn't do anything that I loved. But so far, so good. But I always say, wasn't it Pittsburgh last year? Was it Miami or Pittsburgh? It was one of them that was like crazy. It was crazy number early, and then look where they ended up. So it's like, be careful. But I do think, I don't know, Cleveland, I think they're like, hey, we don't play our home opener for like another week still. Like, it's a road warrior, but I mean, it's not like you didn't know this going into the year. But Cleveland's bats last year were the issue. Like, they weren't consistent. When they hit, they won plenty of games. When they didn't, like their pitching staff can only do so much. I do like that under. I like the under for the game as well. I always think late night or West Coast games. I always think unders, especially at late night. This one's not a late night. This is what would be a 1 o'clock game there, 1:10 game there. But when I always think Dodgers, Padres, and Giants games late at night, I just think it's people always like to bet the over because it's one of the last games on the board or the last game on the board. And I think it's tougher in the West Coast with the do at night and everything to hit it out. So I
miss Candlestick Park because it was the king of unders. The king at nighttime when that wind's blowing.
Yeah, the wind from the bay. Yep. So I got a little free play for you. It's an earlier game here. This Mets Marlins game. Call me crazy. I don't think the Mets are going to have that great a year. And you're minus 225 today. So we can get the plus 1.5 with Miami here at basically even money to minus 110, depending on the book you're looking at. Like, you do realize, and just so if you don't, most games end in like 1-run games, like in baseball. That's why the plus 1.5 is always like enticing if you like, because it's a spread. It's how you play the spread and even out the numbers for teams that have bigger, like margins of loss to wins, basically. I think the Marlins can win this game. So if you give me plus 1.5 on a home team, I'll take it. I think the Mets are going to have a huge regression. Anytime you go get the best hitter in baseball or the best, offensive player, it just doesn't it's the same when you go get, you try to win with the free agency. Look what Aaron Rodgers did. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, free agency is a tough way to build your team. Not saying it worked with Ohtani. He's an alien. That dude is an alien. Like, he doesn't even care about the money. I think he just wants to be the best player. I don't think Soto cares. He only wanted to get the most money. He don't care if the Mets or the Yankees or he's been on 4 teams? At his age, to be on 4 teams, think about that. Nationals, Padres, Mets, Yankees now. Like, to me, he's not the answer there. At least that's what I'm going to say. And plus 1.5 on the Marlins. All right, let's talk NBA. We're about, 7, 8 games I think everybody has left. This is the most, like, the gap from the top to the bottom of the league I've ever seen. Because teams don't even hide it now. Like the Wizards, basically every guy's out. Now we heard that Zion and McCollum have been shut down for the Pelicans. I thought the NBA had these rules that, like, you have to play your players. Like, if they're not injured, you have to play them. These guys they're putting it in the news now. Like, we're shutting them down for the year. They're not really injured. We just don't want to risk injury. What am I missing here, Raphael?
I think what we're missing is that we're still in the LeBron James era. We're still in a load management era. I've been telling people once LeBron, KD, and all these guys are done in the league, we're going to see a difference. We're going to see a Wemby league. We're going to see a young kids who want to play every game, who do not want to take load management, stuff like that. We're still in this era where load management is key. Kawhi Leonard's another one. Can't wait for him to retire because we won't hear load management. We're going to see these young kids, Cooper Flag, all these kids who want to play every game, all these teams who are going to want them. So I just think this is a bad era, and I agree with you. Right now, it's just horrible watching some of these games. Washington, the Pelicans, all these teams that I just
are the books
who wants
getting
to watch
smeared?
them?
Are the books getting smeared because
No,
the
but
lines
there's
are
circle
crazy?
games. There's circle games. There's so many. We call them circle games. People don't know that most of these circle games, like Sacramento, Washington, it's a circle game. I'm fibbing on this one. I'll just use a 10,000. Let's say the max bet was 10,000 a set, they'll probably put it to 3,000 right now because this game means nothing. They don't want to get hammered. They don't want to look at it. They could care less who's betting it. Just put a 3K cap on it, and we'll concentrate on the OKC Detroit game. Other games that mean something.
I mean, tonight there's one game that's truly in single digits. Is that right?
Yes.
Like, that's crazy. Like,
Atlanta,
if you take it, and to be honest, if you said, okay, you get it, you just have to win more than you lose tonight. You take all the underdogs or all the favorites? Dude, I don't know. I might have to take all the favorites, which is rare. But I mean, like, I'm not in love with any of the big underdogs. I did kind of like Detroit a little bit tonight. I was kind of surprised that line was so big. But
how could you like?
And I kind of like Miami too. I kind of think Miami, like, the Celtics have nothing to play for. Like, they're just trying to avoid injuries at this point. They're killing teams. I get it. At some point, you have to say, if you're the Celtics, we got to play guys less minutes. Tatum's going 20 minutes tonight. Brown's getting 20 minutes. Maybe we rest one of the two, every other game from here on out. Like, and the Heat have been playing well, so you can at least argue it. These other games, outside that Dallas game, that's 3.5 or something like that. Is there one of them that you like?
I mean, there was I was leaning towards New York, Cleveland, but I think Bridges is now questionable, and the Cat is now questionable as well. So that was a game. But I'll put out a game tonight. It's my free play. And you said you like Detroit. I think you just like it because producer man had the Detroit gear on, and you're just trying to brown nose to him. But I'm taking OKC team total over 122.5. They are crushing it at home on their offense, and we're talking the second string who are getting a lot of the minutes in the third and fourth quarter. I did another show that I do daily on DirecTV and this morning we talked about this. When the Bulls won 72 teams, 72-10, they never covered games. The Jordan, Pippen, they were all resting in the fourth quarter, waiting. They were probably playing dice with Jordan on the bench in the fourth quarter. When Golden State won 73 games, they never covered games because they were such Curry and all them were sitting on it. OKC's covering games, and their second string is in there covering. They're so deep team. They're averaging 135 points a game their last 7 home games. They're playing the Pistons tonight, who have been outstanding all season, and they're a double-digit dog to OKC. It's just crazy. Pistons last 5 games, they're giving up 122 points. I just like the way OKC blew up Chicago in their last home game, scoring 145 points, and the bench play was just outstanding with OKC. I'm going to take OKC anytime I can see it because they want 70 wins. They say they don't, but deep inside they want 70 wins.
The problem I have with these big spreads is, I mean, you dominate teams and win by 12, 13 points. Like, I always say this, if you like the over, you probably should play Oklahoma City. If you think Detroit's going to win, you probably think, maybe they find a way to slow it down. Because the pace of play for Oklahoma City, And their defense, it's not, if you just say points per game, they're not one of the best defenses. But if you do per possession,
yes, per possession,
they're one of the best defensive teams. So they basically per possession could end up the number one offensive and defensive team, which is like rare. Like, I mean, I think the Warriors did it on one of those, maybe two of those championship years. If you do it per possession, nobody else like ever does that. Because if you're the best offense, usually you're not very good defense. Like you have to try to outscore people. They're getting it done, and they have like 9-10 guys, so they can rest. And that has probably been the key to these big spreads is they got shooters, and they don't stop shooting threes. What did we say? There was a 3-pointer stat the other night that there was more threes shot in, I forget which
Celtics game. I think it was. It was a Celtics game. They shot 60 plus 3-pointers.
Yeah, which was like what a team. I forget what championship team. Maybe it was the Celtics championship team with the Bird era that didn't shoot in a month. They shot it in one game. Like I don't know what the answer is. I don't hate it. I know a lot of people do hate it. I don't hate the amount of threes. And they say, well, they'll move it back a little bit. Dude, it doesn't matter. If you move it back, Steph Curry can shoot from most of these guys can shoot from deep. They're not going to quit shooting threes if you move it back even 8 to 10, 12 inches. So to me, that's not the answer. I don't know what is, though, to be very honest. I just don't. I mean, like Steph Curry last night, 11 threes in 3 quarters is just 50
I just don't
plus
see
points.
another shooter like we've seen in college coming in. That's a Steph Curry. That's I mean, when Steph Curry came in, we were all talking about Ray Allen. Oh, we're never going to see another Ray Allen. And then here comes Curry. I don't see another Steph in high school or college that I've seen. Maybe Clayton from Florida, who got red hot. I think he made a name for himself during the tournament. But I haven't seen that sharp shooter in college yet.
I mean, he's a Trae Young was probably the closest thing to Curry.
Oh, yeah, Trae Young, you're right.
But you just don't find those guys that can shoot off the dribble like that. But it's not like guys quit shooting, and that's what I think people have a problem with is that guys that aren't great shooters are shooting those shots.
Keep on shooting,
and it's like now it's created this just like kind of bad basketball because it just ends up. I watched the possession of the day. It was 3-pointer off the dribble, come down on a fast break 3-pointer.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
Back, they throw it to the corner, another 3-pointer to another non-shooter, and then finally the coach calls a timeout. It was 3 bad 3-pointers in a row, and I'm like, the coach is finally like, I've seen enough of this. I got to stop this because you knew what was going to happen. They're going to come right back, probably shoot another 3.
Do another 3.
And to me, that's like the Warriors won with a 3-point style, and I think that made it okay for people to try to do that. And the Celtics, of course, then last year took that to a whole new level. They shot even more threes. But the average team can't win like that. There's only 3 or 4 teams in the league that can win by just shooting 3-pointers. The Celtics probably I think the only one this year, because if you look at Oklahoma City, they shoot a lot of threes. Guess what SGA gets? Tons of easy shots and tons of free throws. Like if you take him off the team, they couldn't just win with a 3-point shot, in my opinion. Is there anything here in the NBA, outside of the Celtics, the Cavs, obviously Oklahoma City, what's the 4th team? What's the 4th team that we're seeing out there that is getting played for the books? Have you heard any of the other? I mean, Warriors maybe?
The Warriors. I mean, if
Lakers, I guess.
If you look at the media, it's the Lakers. But no, it's not the Lakers. It never was the Lakers. They're just talking.
I'm just talking about action that we're getting.
But action has to be Golden State because let's face it, their meter has changed so much with Jimmy being there. Buckets. I mean, Green has been playing like he's 10 years younger, and Steph has been Steph. But I think with Jimmy Butler, I think the bench has provided a little boost as well. So it's Golden State as that 3rd one. But if you kind of think, it's just a 2-team race, OKC and Boston. I'm not even throwing Cleveland because Cleveland has struggled as of late. They can't win. They can't cover.
They got a home court though, like that. Like the home court does give them an edge. If Boston had the home court, there's no chance Cleveland beats them. None.
I need the Spider to show me something in the playoffs. I think Mitchell has to have probably one of his.
The key is he's good. Their best player is Mobley.
Yeah.
He's like a better version of Draymond Green, a better offensive version of Draymond Green and way longer. And Kenny Atkinson kind of came in and said, listen, you got to be our best player on both ends. We got to kind of not you have to score the most, but you got to be able to do it all. Rebounds, defense. I think he should be up for defense play there. Then you got Jared Allen's a very good defender.
I think he's the key. I think Jared Allen could be the big
Those
key,
2 defenders, dude, they could switch on anybody, even though they're like 7'1", 2 wingspans. They could switch on anybody. That will give Boston trouble, I think. But now they still got the two guards, Mitchell and Garland, still going to have like just crazy series to beat them. But hey, when you're at home, they say it was worth one game, let's say. Okay, now it's 3-3. Can you split? Like, I don't know. We'll see. That'll be interesting. In the West, I still think there's a puncher chance for Denver, Golden State. I mean, call me crazy. I still think Minnesota. I keep holding hope for Minnesota.
They've been playing some really good ball in Minnesota.
I mean, they won in double overtime last night against Denver. A Joker had 60 last night. He had a triple-double with 60 points and lost to Minnesota. That was a very good win. What's the other team I'm missing out West?
I mean, a month ago we were saying Memphis, but they are awful. They're 1-12 against the spread in the last 13 home games.
I mean, last night they were what was it, 1 or 2 points? They were up 1 with like 6 minutes to go, and they end up like losing by, which I had the Warriors minus the points, so I was very happy they didn't play. I guess the Clippers. You still have to give Clippers a little like because
you're on your own. You're on your own at the Clippers.
I'm telling Kawhi is that dude's a robot. Now, can he stay healthy for a whole playoffs? I mean, we have not seen that. And since Toronto, right? He has not been healthy since Toronto when he won a championship. So now, can he turn back the clock? Can he do it for that long? I don't know. James Harden's had a great year. Like, if you just said James Harden.
No one talks about James Harden. He's had
because the Clippers haven't been good. Like, if the Clippers were in the second, third spot, James Harden, people would be saying he's maybe a comeback player of the year, most improved player. Like, I mean, that dude is playing great basketball. He's playing every game. Norman Powell's had a great year, All-Star year, a great year. So to me, Big Z that dude's a beast. He just unfortunately there goes games where he has no one to guard, so they have to move him out. So I don't know. Matchups are going to be important in the playoffs this year because there's certain teams that don't play well against each other, especially in the Eastern Conference. Like, dude, if you're the Knicks, they're the 3rd seed right now, right? They're up 4 games over the Pacers, so a pretty comfortable lead. Like, they're going to play the Pistons, right?
Yes.
Is that right, or do they play the Bucks?
The Bucks won yesterday.
They'll play the Pistons or the Bucks. It really is going to
be either or.
Like, I do not like that matchup for either for them being the whole. I don't like that matchup for either one. Like, they got. I know they lost to the Pacers last year. The Pacers are 3 games up on the Bucks and 2 games up on the Pistons. They got to be begging that they play them because. Like, this Detroit team, I would not want to play Cunningham and them.
I'd rather play the Knicks than the Pistons.
They are long. I can't wait. I don't know. Is Damian Lillard out officially for the year? I know he's out for an extended period of time.
He's not out. He's out probably for the regular. The news came out yesterday that he is not practicing, but he is with the team running and doing some light shooting and stuff like that. Everything's improving. I guess the blood clot is shrinking quicker than they thought. But he's not ruled out. Maybe in the regular season, yes.
If you have Dame time and you have the Greek Freak, I would not want to play that. Because both of them can win you games by themselves, basically. And together, that's a dangerous team. I think they'll get Bobby Portis back very soon, right?
Yes.
He was on suspension.
And Kuzma's been playing much better as well since Lillard been out.
I'm not dependent on that guy. He's gonna.
I didn't say to put all the effort on, but he's been playing much better.
I just think that's a dangerous team because they're championship part of they're still from a few years back. Obviously, Dame wasn't on that team, but I still think that is a team that I would, maybe they could pull an upset series 1. I know it's not at home, and then who knows? They match up against the Cavaliers. I would not, if I was the Cavaliers, I would not want to face the Bucks. For sure. All right. Hope everybody had a great time talking sports. We'll be back again tomorrow. Of course, Raphael will be back next Wednesday. If you haven't done so, make sure if you haven't done so, get on the DocSports.com/free60. Get a $60 account for new customers. Also, if you're a premium, if not a premium plus member, click the link in the description. It's $49.99. You'll get 3 Doc Sports experts. So some days it might be men, might be Raphael. We have 10 guys. So, and each of us have 3, 4, 5 plays a day. It will never be a 5, 6, 7, 8 unit plays. They're always 2, 3, and 4 unit plays. But you can get those 3 plays every day for a month for $49.99. And that includes the premium level 1 of Indian Cowboys. So it's just an extra $30. So if you're already on Indian Cowboy, you could upgrade. Click the link in the description either way to get in. All right, Raphael, thanks for coming on. I hope you have a great Final Four. I'm not going to pin you down on air, but afterwards I'm going to send you a text if you're on the same team I am as far as the winner for both games and then the championship game. So have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time.